Hello everyone, welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to create a pop-up. So in one of our previous videos, when we click this edit button, it takes us to another page and displays some of the information, and we can fill this out and then save it. In this video, I'm going to show you how when you click on this, it'll be a pop-up instead with some of that same form to fill out, and we can submit or cancel. And we're also going to have an overlay to let the user know that we are in a pop-up. So let's go ahead and get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to I duplicated this admin screen. So let's go to the screen here. So the first thing we're going to do is let me introduce you to what is called a container. So let me just type that in here. Container. Oops. Wrong place there. So I'm gonna come here. So we have this layout, and in this layout we have these different containers, and we're gonna use this container here. So let me do this. I'm gonna add the container, and here's our container. And the container, it's sort of like a grouping, but it's not really group. This is more powerful than a group. Here, when we add our different elements in here, this container treats all of those elements as one. So whatever we do to this container, it does it to all of the different elements. So for example, let's go ahead and add a form in here. And the way we do that is we click the element, make sure this is selected. We go up here to forms, and then we're just going to add a display add. So we're going to connect to our data, and we're going to connect to employee onboarding. Our data source is up here, employee onboarding, and there we go. So once that comes up, it's going to show us a whole bunch of different fields, and I'm just going to remove some of the fields because we don't need them all. Let me just expand this just a little bit. Oh, so I got to go back here, select my container, and then just kind of expand it some. Well, maybe I can expand it vertical. And then we can, as you can see, our form is within the container. I'm going to click on the form, and I'm going to go to our edit. And then I am going to just remove a lot of these fields. So I'm going to remove this field, remove some of these, just lessen it so we don't have too much. And really, I just want to show you how the pop-up works, just to kind of demonstrate what this functionality looks like. So let's remove a bunch of these different fields. I want to have as few as possible. Usually when you have a pop-up, at least from my experience, you don't want to have too many fields. I mean, you can if you want to, but I prefer not to have too many. But of course, I mean, there's no written rule saying you shouldn't. So right now it only shows 2. If you do this and put it back to 3, it'll show the 3. So there you go. So here is my pop-up. Let me do this, and let me click on the can you do this? Okay, let's give our pop-up a little bit of color so we can distinguish it from the rest of the page. Let's do something crazy, like give it, there you go. And let's look at our form. Let me put this up a little bit, and then let's go back to the container, and then I'm just gonna add a button in here. Let's make sure our container is selected, and then come over here, button, bring our button down, and let's call this submit. Submit. Let's add another button. Let's call this one, let's say cancel. So cancel. All right. So now what we want to happen is when this is clicked, we want this to pop up. So initially, when we come to this page, we don't want this container to be visible. So let's come here, and the first thing I want to do though is when we come to this admin page, I'm going to go to the on visible, and I already have something in here. So let's call this something else. Show pop up. and we're gonna say show pop-up is false. I'm gonna select this, copy that, and then I'm gonna go to my container and go to the visible, and let's change it to that, show pop-up. So boom, it's gone. So now what we want to happen is when we click on this, it's doing nothing now. We want it the pop-up to come up. So what do? Let's click on this again, and let's remove all of this stuff. That was the code before. Let's remove all of this stuff. Show pop up. It's true. Okay. So now we come here, we do this. Show pop-up is there. And the reason it's saying no item to display is because of in our form, which is right here, the item is blank. So that's why we get this no item to display, but we're gonna fix that in a second, because the next question is, how do we pass this to this container? How do we pass our data from this gallery item to this container? Okay, so let's come out of there. One thing I want to do though is I want the user to know that we are in a pop-up. So I really want to have an overlay over this, have like a grayish, a transparent grayish color. So let's do that. Let's come over here. Let's go to icon, scroll down and add a rectangle. Okay, and let's let it expand the whole page, and then I'm gonna come here and change the fill color to a grayish color, right? But then I need to come over here. Let's go to the, now that we picked the color, let's go to fill, the property fill here, and let's just say 0.6. So it kind of shows it. So now what we want to do is let's go back to let's go to the rectangle, and we're gonna click this 3 dots here. We're gonna go to order, and we're gonna say send backward. And as you can see, this pops up. So now you can't really click on anything here, but the form, you can do stuff in the form, but nothing in the background. So that's exactly what we want. So now what we want to do now is let's go back and select our rectangle. And then we're gonna go to the visible property of our rectangle, and we're gonna say show, because when we show pop up, so when this pops up, we want that to pop up too. So now let's go back. Okay, now, so let's do this. Oops. Oh, I clicked on the wrong screen. This is the screen we want. Voila, that's what we want. All right, so now let's fix this cancel button. Let's come here, and then we're gonna come here, and we're going to say on select, let us set show pop-up. Let me move this out the way. We're gonna say show pop-up. We're gonna say false. Okay, so if we do this, see, now that's working. Okay, all right, so we got that out the way. Now how do we pass our data? So when we click on this, we want our form to appear, and we want it to show data. So the way we do that is, let's cancel this out. Let's click in here. And so what we want to do is when we select this, we are already in this item. And as you know, there is, if you don't know, there is something called this item, and we can set a variable to this item. So let's say, let's do this. Let's say set, let's say pop up data, and then this item. All right, this item. So now we're gonna pass this pop-up data to this item. So we do this. It's still not showing, so what we have to do now, we have to set the property of item. So let's go in here and select our form 6 item. Come in here and we're gonna say pop up data. And as you can see, as soon as I did that, a lot of the different fields are filled up. So we're gonna come in here, let's cancel. All right, so let's go back in, let's do this. Pop up data, our data gets populated, and then we can come in here and fill stuff out. So now how do we submit button? Let's create that action. So what we do is we come here. Oh, let me bring that back. Okay, cancel. Click on submit and pretty much just submit form. And the form we want to submit is this form right here, our form 6. So we just start typing form 6. Okay. So if I come in here and I say, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do that, and then I just say submit. Okay. And let me cancel that. So it's there, it's still there, so it did submit. I mean, we can have other things happen as well. So when we do this submit, we can also say show set show pop up, and then we can set that to false. So we come here, and there you go. You can also have a pop-up that says, you know, thank you. You know, you can do all sorts of things in Power Apps. So I hope that makes sense. Let's do a little quick recap. So we had this container. We added our form in here. All the data in there. We added these 2 buttons. We made sure that the on visible property, we created this variable show pop-up. We set it to false, so that whenever we come to this page, this on visible kicks and this form is not going to be showing, because we only wanted to show when the pencil is clicked. So once the pencil is clicked, let me cancel. So once the pencil is clicked, we have show pop-up is true. Set pop-up data to this item, so that way we can pass this pop-up data to our container. And then on cancel, we set the show pop-up to false. Same thing with the submit. I hope that made sense. Please like the button. Please like this video. Also, please share this video and subscribe if you want to have more videos. So anyway, thanks for watching. Much appreciated. Bye.